this video is going to cover examples for solving one and two-step equations. In your book, you can find these examples also on page 119. For one step, that means you only have to do one math operation to solve the first variable. So when you're solving an equation, you have a variable and constants and an equal sign. This equal sign right here is what makes this an equation versus just being an expression. So whenever you have an equal sign, the first thing, draw your line down your equal sign so you can see I have two sides to my equation. And this equal sign is saying that this side is equal to this side, like they're balanced right now. And so what it means by solving is you want to figure out the one thing that you don't know. And what you don't know in these is the value of your variable. So we want to try and get the variable alone on one side to figure out what it's worth or how much is that variable. What is that value? So once you get that alone on one side, you know. So starting this equation, you have x minus 3 on this side, and you have negative 8 on that side. But I want to get this x by itself. So I need to get rid of this negative 3 right here. And how can I get rid of that? That's when you use inverses form. They're opposites. So it's the opposite of minus 3 plus 3. So then we're left with x. What's negative 3 plus 3? It's 0, which is what we want. We want that x by itself. X plus 0 is just x. But remember, when we first started looking at this, we said that this side is balanced with this side. So whatever I do over here, I added 3 to get rid of that. I have to do on the other side of the balance, keep it equal. So if I add 3 here, I'm going to have to add 3 here. So negative 8 adding 3 is negative 5. So what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So that's an example of a one step. I'll do another one step where we're multiplying and dividing. So here we have negative 7y equals 28. Here's our equal sign for our variable that we're trying to get alone. We have a negative 7y. When the terms are touching like this, that means they're being multiplied. So we have negative 7 times y. So how do we get rid of that negative 7? Well, the opposite of times is divide. So we're going to divide by what we want to get rid of, which is negative 7. What we do to this side, we have to do to this side. Keep it balanced. What are we left with? Y is equal to negative 4. And so that is one step equations. I want to talk a little bit about inverses before we go to the two-step. So the opposite of plus, instead we do subtraction. If we have subtraction, we're going to do addition. If we have multiplication, we're going to do division, multiplication. Another inverse that we need to remember is if we have 1/2 x, the way that we get rid of a fraction, we need to multiply times 2. That's the inverse. So we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of our fraction. We're going to flip it. And that's how it cancels. When we do to one side, we have to do the other. But here I'll show you why these cancel. Whenever you're multiplying fractions, you multiply top with top and bottom with bottom. So here we have 2 times 1 on top, which is 2, and 1 times 2 on bottom, which is 2. So That's what this reduces to. And now 2 divided by 2 is just 1x, which is the same as just x. So see how when we multiply by the inverse, when we flip our fraction, that just goes away. We're just left with x at the end. Once it simplifies. So that's how you get rid of fractions. You don't change the sign from positive to negative, you just flip the numerator and the denominator. So I'm going to look at a two-step equation, which means you have to do two math operations to get to the answer. I'm just going to do some examples. There's my equal sign. There's what I want to get rid of. Or that's what I want to solve for. I want to get my x value. So I need to get rid of this 3 times and this minus 2. But what do I get rid of first? Can I just get rid of the 3? No, because it's not applied to everything over here. The first thing that I always need to move, right here, step 1, is to move the constants. Which is just the number without a variable. Out. So what's my constant here? In this case, negative 2 is a constant, and 4 is also a constant. But the one that I want to get rid of is the one on the side of the x. So if I have minus 2, the way I get rid of that is I add 2. Negative 2 plus 2 goes to 0. If I add 2 here, I have to add 2 here. And I'm left with 3x equals 6. And then this is 3 times x. So then x equals 2. Here, this step, step 2, is you move the coefficient, which is the number that's times here. Number with. So when you're moving your coefficient, you're going to be dividing or multiplying, depending on what's happening in your problem in the first place. And then when you're moving your constant, you're going to be subtracting or adding, depending on the sign of your constant. So let's do a couple more. So the first thing we need to do, draw a line under equal sign to keep track of the two sides of our equation. Circle what we're solving for, and that's what we're trying to get along. Step 1 again is to get rid of your constants. So since we have a plus 2, we're going to do minus 2. 2 minus 2 goes to 0, which is what we want. So now we have 10 minus 2 on this side, 8. We have n over on this side. So now this line right here, over 4 is the same thing as divided by 4. So if we're dividing by 4, the way we're going to get rid of a divide is using the opposite, which is multiply by what we want to get rid of. If we multiply that side by 4, we have to multiply this side by 4. So then we're left with 32. The way that you can check your answer, check your work, is once you have a value for n, like here we said that n is equal to 32, let's plug it back into our original equation and see if it works. Let's see if 10 is equal to n, which is 32. We solve over 4 plus 2. 2 divided by 4 is 8 plus 2 equals 10. That matches. So we got it right. So here's one of the fractions. So here's my sign. Here's my variable. And first move my constant, which is 30. That's a positive 30, or else it would have a negative sign difference. So the opposite of positive 30 is take away 30. So now here, remember when we were talking about getting rid of fractions? I said the opposite of a fraction is its reciprocal. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply times 3 over 1. That cancels out. What we do to this side, we have to do to this side. So we're going to also multiply here by 3. And if we're multiplying fractions, we put that over 1, multiply across the top, and then across the bottom. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 265 is 795. 795 divided by 1 is just 795 equals, what do we have left over here? So that is it for this video. Examples on solving 1 and 2 step equations.